We had computers when I started journalism, but it was a bizarre system. We didn't have the internet. There was one computer in the library that I think they connected somehow, and you could go and log on, and it was just this one computer that could actually get internet access. So that was 95 when I started. If you'd shown me in 1995 a crystal ball that would show me that on your phone you would be able to access every news organisation in the world with the touch of your phone, I would have thought it was some kind of science fiction fantasy. There's been this fast-paced revolution in terms of information and how people access it, which is compounded, and put stress on newspapers, because by the very nature of the printing, the 24-hour cycle of a newspaper is slower and clunkier. So media outlets have, obviously got websites, and there's information on the websites, and that's all now about SEO and clickbait and all of those sort of cliches that don't sit next to the printed out newspaper. But we're in a really kind of dramatic transition. Newspapers will go. They are going. they're closing all the time in America and the UK. They are going. I don't think they're all going to go. Do I think, the Hunter will be affected? Yes. Down the track, I think, the smaller papers will go. And Fairfax just announced its rollout, this national plan that it's rolling out to all of their regional media, that they're shutting some papers in Western Australia. And I think that's inevitable in New South Wales. And the pressure on me as a journalist is that we've been told about, social media, Twitter, you've got to be engaged, you've got to be connected. And we're going to train you how to use video, and we want you to record your interviews, and et cetera, et cetera. But the reality is, none of that has truly filtered down to what we do day to day yet. There's a gulf between where we're heading and what is being said about what has to happen and it actually happening. I've done a 2-hour course on how to film someone with my iPhone, but when I'm going out to do a feature interview, which are usually at least an hour-long interview, I don't want to be distracted by having to worry about, is that working? Can we check? The intimacy of a feature interview, I think often, means that you can't have that intrusive aspect, that people want to sit down with you one-on-one and have a detailed conversation without a camera in their face, even if it is just a little iPhone. And so no one's called me out on it. No one has said, you need to be doing more video, you need to get more training. Likewise, if I said, look, we should go and film this person, we often don't have the resources or the free staff for someone extra to come with me, like we're doing here today. That's just it's not feasible. We don't have the equipment, we don't have the resources, the numbers of people to be able to enable that. In Australia, we've really worked out, they have in the UK and in America, worked out how to transfer features over to the online digital kind of format, how to capitalise, how to value add to a feature, because it's time consuming. They just usually, often the go-to measure is put up a picture gallery, and I think there can be more inventiveness and creativity, but it's just not happening. And I don't feel that the journalist whose job it is to write the 2,000-word feature should also be responsible for driving that shift. It really has to be happening from the top down. I'm going to be shifting from journalism writing into my own writing when I depart the Herald in a few weeks. So that is something that it's very hard to do your own writing when you write all day in your main job. The amount of words I write in a year, look, I don't know, it'd be, in terms of, and I write columns as well, it'd be well over 100,000, I would suggest. I just don't have the time. And then, as you mentioned, I organise the Newcastle Writers' Festival, and that actually requires a lot of reading, a lot of thinking. So as well as the thought process at work and having to put some energy into a narrative structure in my features at work, I just find I'm depleted. And my brain just cannot then turn to another creative project, because they're all creative. Coming up with the festival program and ideas for that, every feature idea, you know, most of them I generate myself, initiating interviews, doing the research, and then of course creating that narrative is draining. So I just haven't, and I've got small children as well, which adds to the kind of mix. So yes, I want to do more of my own writing, and I think it's probably taken me to now to believe that I can do it. You know, it's been a hard process to come to decide to go, because I like what I do and I value what I do, and I do know it's valued by the readership, but I suppose I don't sense it's valued by my employer. I think my boss values it, but I'm talking big picture, you know, media company picture. The fact that in the new model for the new newsroom with our new publishing platform, which is online first, features doesn't factor into their org chart. And so I think I could, you know, you can kid yourself and say, oh, look, but I'm different, I'm valued and I'm good at what I do, so therefore, okay, the whole features department's not on that org chart, but I'll go and fight for a job to remain. Or you can just see the writing on the wall and think, well, features isn't going to be a priority, but I know what I do is valued elsewhere. I think the sadness for me is leaving newspapers as such, because I love newspapers, but that's tinged with so much nostalgia that, you know, I'm also a realist. And so, you know, the days, when I'm feeling this pang, I picture the new model and I think, yes, like I don't see myself there. So I see myself here, but here is gone in the next few weeks. So that makes it easier to kind of move on.